So this is a question that I've created from our molarity component from the chemistry classes that we've been talking about as in class and in lab. So this is actually a question on the new on the questions I've given you for your problems. This is actually question 9. And it says you have 53 milliliters of a 1.5 molar solution of sodium chloride, but you actually need to make a 0.8 molar solution. So how many milliliters of that 0.8 can you actually make, given that you only have 53 mils? So we will be using the molarity conversion, which is you have M1V1 is equal to M2V2. And so it's really a question of understanding two things. The first thing is that what is our M1, what is our M2, what is our V1, what is our V2? And so it's really what the question is asking us. So you are starting with a 1.5 molar solution, and you need to go to a 0.8 solution. So you're further diluting your solution almost by half. So your M1 in this situation is going to be the higher strength. So it's going to be that 1.5 molar solution, okay? And our M2 is going to be that 0.8 because that's what you're using your 1.5 and you're going to your 0.8. So those two are now, we figured that out, okay? It also tells us, well, how much of that 1.5 we have. So we have actually 53 milliliters. And the question is asking, well, how much of that 0.8 can you actually make? So the V1 is given to us is 53 milliliters. That's how much we have. The V2 question is, well, exactly how much we'll make out of that 0.8. Okay, so your M1 will always go with your V1 to start with, and your M2 will always go with your V2. So just making that clear. The second component that we have to make sure of is, are there any unit conversions we have? So the question gives us the 53 mils for volume 1, and the question is also asking you, well, how much volume in milliliters you will make for your V2, so of that 0.8 molar solution. So there's no unit conversions. If it said we had 53 liters and it asked us, well, how many milliliters, then we would have a unit conversion to do, or vice versa, okay? So if we started with 53 mils and it asked us, well, how many liters that would make us. So keep in mind, again, your units and what the question is asking, because they might not always be the same. So the first thing I'm going to do is plug in the numbers that we were given into the equation that we have. So we have 1.5, we're multiplying that by 53, and that's equal to 0.8, but we don't know what V2 is, so that's what we're going to solve for. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to combine our left side, and in brackets, beside brackets as shown here, is a multiplication. So we have 1.5 and we're multiplying that by 53, and that gives us 79.5. Okay, we still have 0.8 in brackets and V2, but now what we want to do is we want to isolate V2. So how we do that is, because this is considered a multiplication, what we're going to do is we're going to move that 0.8 across the equal sign, and it becomes the opposite order of operation. So again, because this is multiplication, when we move it across the equal sign, it will become a division. Okay, so now I'm going to take that 79.5, I'm going to divide it by 0.8, and I end up getting 99.37, or 375, so approximately 99.38 milliliters, and that is our now volume 2. So I mean, and I know it looks really weird because we're starting with 53 mils of that 1.5 solution, and it's asking, well, how many mils can you actually make from this? So the reason why we can make way more than what we're given is because the concentration is much more dilute.